I don't think I do it.
But Arsenal started like a house on fire. Signing number 2 for this new era. It's Judgment Day, people. Yeah! What did your boy tell you? It was never in doubt. Never in doubt.
Don't believe in any luck, I believe I'm self-made, yeah.
Now then, people, welcome back to the Just Joe Football Show, and apologies first and foremost for being like 25 minutes late. I do apologise. I had to get the dogs out on a walk, and then I bought them some new grain-free dog food, which they were absolutely buzzing about. One in the garden, one in the kitchen. I opened the door. There was still some left. They started scrapping. I've cut my finger, so I had to separate them, right? So that's why I'm late. I do apologise, right? Listen, tonight, it's just me and another, okay? We're going to be hearing straight from the horse's mouth, if you like. Not quite Patrick Vieira, but someone who's a Crystal Palace fan who's going to give us the lowdown on everything, Patrick Vieira. Listen, I've given you my thoughts. I'm not keen on it. I'm not keen on it as a signing. It is getting late. So what I do want to do is bring in my man D from the Back of the Nest podcast. We also share the space on the 12th Man podcast. Great content creator. Enjoy his content. And I just want to hear from him what he thinks about Leeds United perspective signature of Patrick Vieira, and then we'll let him go because it's getting late, and then I'll give you my thoughts. So let's bring in D. D, how you doing, brother? You good?
Yeah, bro, I'm good. It's good to be talking championship football again, man. It's been a while.
See how he's coming. He's coming fighting. I can't believe you've done me like that, man.
It's been a while, Joe. It's been a while, man. But yeah, but it's funny. Honestly, I never expected this. We're talking about Patrick Vieira for Leeds. Well, to be fair, in a way,
you did tell me. You did tell me, and I said no, not a chance, didn't I?
Yeah, remember. So this is something that we've known about as Palace fans from basically when he got sacked. Patrick Vieira was one of those managers where he was it's not just it was Marsh. When I think Marsh got sacked. When did Marsh get sacked?
That's right, mate. Yeah.
When did he get sacked?
Just after January.
January. So according to reports, when Patrick Vieira got sacked from Palace, Patrick Vieira didn't actually apply for the job, but he was interested in the Leeds job, which of course came out after he got the sacking. But you know what? This is a territory that he's been interested for ages, and I'm personally surprised that he's still interested after you guys have been relegated, because I thought he might wait for another Premier League job. But Joe, there's a lot of things that came out after he got sacked, which raised question marks about Patrick Vieira as a manager. I don't know if this is too soon for him yet, because the Championship is ruthless. In a way, you could say it's harder than the Premier League due to the fixture congestion, due to maybe not in terms of quality, because there's more quality players, of course, in the Premier League. But the Championship is hard. It's hard to get out of the Championship, and ideally, you want someone that's experienced. So
yeah, exactly.
I don't know, man. I don't know how I feel about this for you lot.
Yeah, so like I'm quite a big advocate of Darren Farker, who was at Norwich. Obviously, I know his Premier League record's not great, but obviously has won promotion from the Championship, twice, winning the league both times. Like you said, Vieira for me, I remember, and I got cooked by Palace fans for this as well. When he first came to the Premier League for Palace, I said he would be the first manager sacked, and obviously Palace. Yeah. Palace had a great season, though. I think you finished 12th. You got to an FA Cup final, right? You had a good season. Yeah. And then it sort of went. It went downhill. So why do you think that is, bro? Like, what? Tell me what you know. Tell me what you know now.
Okay, so what we found out afterwards, which made me question, because I love Patrick Vieira. By the way, let me start off with the positive. When Patrick Vieira first joined the club, I love the underdog story, because he was one of the last options. He's had a bit of management experience before he joined Palace, and his philosophy is a bit exciting as well compared to what we had under Roy Hodgson. So it's exciting times, and the first season was arguably the best season in the 10 years we've been in the Premier League as a Crystal Palace fan, because we've got younger players, we play some exciting football, good cup run as well, and it all happened under a young manager like Patrick Vieira. But I think what came out after he got sacked made me question whether he's ready to be a top manager in the game yet, because his assistant manager Ocean Roberts seemed like he was pulling the plugs more than Patrick Vieira. And based on the story and based on what was happening at Palace, it kind of made sense. Look at Eze, for example. Eze is now playing for England. Under Vieira, he was not coming onto the pitch. And you know, this is the second season. And the reason why I think we had the downfall the second season, one, because of the investment. I think we didn't have as much investment that we needed in the summer. And we've seen it now, even with Palace, we're not looking really to invest that much. I mean, that's a massive problem for us. And another reason is because I feel like he fell out with some of the players. That's clear, because Eze is definitely one of them. Because ever since Roy Hodgson joined, what Eze was saying week in, week out, after scoring goals and getting assists and being one of the most important players for us. Zaha that kept us up. It was Eze's and the Elises that kept us up alongside Gehi. And he was saying confidence. We went 3 to 4 months without scoring a goal. We were solid in that period defensively, but the report suggested that, you know, his assistant and his training regime and how he approached games as well, it was very strict. And I feel like that had a toll on the players. Yeah. Whereas Roy Hodgson, he gave the players a bit more freedom. And you saw it as well with Palace. When some of these crazy players got freedom, we started scoring goals and we stayed up relatively comfortably. I mean, the 5 goals against Leeds, I don't want to put it, but you saw it. Like, there was some
of course. Was that Hodgson's first game as well?
No, that was his second game, I think.
Right, okay.
It was the second game. And that's the thing with Vieira. He seemed a bit strict in his approach. And even with his approach, to this day, Vieira hasn't come out publicly and said goodbye to the fans. And to this day, there hasn't been any other players that's come out and said, you know, oh, you know, sad to see you go, Gaffer. There's only been one, and that's Lokonga, who was on loan from Arsenal to Palace. Zaha didn't come out. Eze didn't come out. You kind of gave him credit. But look, I don't think Patrick Vieira is a bad manager, but I don't think Patrick Vieira is the man to take you from the Championship to the Premier League. I think it's a very risky approach. If I was me personally, he could do the job because the type of football that he plays is creative. And also another positive to Vieira is he has that pull. Players want to play for Vieira because it's Patrick Vieira. He's a legend of the game, regardless of what you think about him as a manager. But for me, if I'm Leeds, I wouldn't go. I think that's a very risky route. And I don't know if you're willing to take, I don't know if you should take that risk down in the Championship. The Championship is you see it year in, year out, bro. Like the Championship, the playoffs, it comes down to the last game, goal difference and all of that. Every point matters. And for me, I think a more experienced manager probably makes a bit more sense. And for Vieira, just like what Eddie Howe done before taking the Newcastle job, I think he needs to go and learn from other managers. Like Eddie Howe went to Atletico Madrid, he went to other clubs and other managers and learned from one of the best. And I think that's what Vieira needs to do, because I feel like he was too reliant on his assistant, and that played a part to the lack of results.
Well, that's quite interesting you say that as well, because obviously it's come out like Gerrard, obviously too reliant on his assistants as well, and maybe Lampard a little bit to an extent as well, because there was a lot made about Jody Morris when he was at Derby, what he was doing, and we know how poor Lampard's been since. So it almost feels like this generation of managers or generation of ex-players, you know, they don't quite have it. Like obviously we've been linked to Daniel Farke, and I just think the fact that he's won the Championship twice, it just makes it makes perfect sense, man.
Yeah,
right?
Why don't you go for him? Yeah, why don't you go? Like, why is Vieira at the top of the list? Maybe if you get promoted to the Premier League, then Vieira's still got that bit of Premier League experience, right? But I keep saying it, and I'll keep saying it again. Vieira is not. He's got a bit of experience now as a manager, because he was managing in France, managing in Premier League, managing over in America as well. But I don't know if he's ready for the Championship. A lot of teams ain't ready for the Championship. That's why at times it could be a struggle getting promoted. There's been a few yo-yos such as Norwich or Fulham. But if you got a manager out there, I mean, even Scott Parker, which you can laugh at it, but Scott Parker got teams promoted, right? And Daniel Farke. Why don't you go for the manager that knows what to do in the Championship, that knows the experience of the Championship? When has Patrick Vieira been in the Championship? He hasn't been in the Championship as a player. He's been in the total opposite end. You know, I personally, I don't get it. And you mentioned Frank Lampard and Steven Gerrard. I personally feel like Vieira is probably still a better manager than Steven Gerrard and Frank Lampard. And the difference between Steven Gerrard and Vieira is Vieira's assistant hasn't left. Vieira's assistant will most likely be there. And that's Ocean Roberts, who used to be the technical director, I believe, of Morocco. And before he came to Palace, I think he's the one that helped Vieira get his coaching badges. So I think them two have known each other for a while. But they don't have the experience. The only experience that they've had pretty much is at Palace. And if he brings the same backroom staff, maybe if he brings a different backroom staff, then that could help. Experienced backroom staff. But then again, he doesn't, from what I got, he just seemed like he's not ready. It just seemed like he's just not ready for that move, especially in Championship. I just don't have a good feeling about this.
No.
You might be in terms of you might be fighting for playoffs. I don't think it'll be absolutely dreadful, but you want to get promoted, right? You want to win the title or try to. That's what you want to do. So you go for someone who's won the title in the Championship.
Yeah,
that should be the option. And Vieira hasn't got that experience. It's another unknown territory for him. And his assistant, he hasn't got that experience either. Honestly.
And there you go. Like someone's just mentioned there, Ocean Roberts as well was the driving force behind Wales.
It's part of Wales. So I think Vieira actually got his coaching badges, I believe, over with the Wales FA. I don't quote me on that exactly, but I think it was something along that lines, and that's how I met Ocean Roberts. But he was involved in the Wales setup. He was involved in the Morocco he was involved for Morocco as well. So he's got a bit of experience there. But then again, it's not. It cost Vieira his job. I think there was someone in the comments, Chloe, who's from our back of the net, who tunes in, Palace fan, said it. Vieira's coaching staff, they just don't have the experience and they're not good enough. Right. And this, okay, so Joe, this is what I feel like, and let me know what you think. Of course, a manager, even like Pep right now, yeah, Pep, his assistant went to Leicester.
Maresca,
your assistant should play a part in terms of helping you out. But my biggest question mark is, it seemed like Vieira's assistant was controlling things, which makes me question you as a manager. Because if you're the head boss, your assistant should help you out. But his assistant was running the show. That's the messages that we were getting. So what does that make Vieira? Like, what type of manager is he? Do we even know how good or how bad of a manager Vieira
that's
is?
exactly the same as Gerrard, didn't it, bro? Because Michael Beale went and then it went to Pot. Do you know what I mean?
And that makes me question about even Steven Gerrard, because the difference is Vieira's assistant still could come to you a lot, whereas Steven Gerrard's assistant is gone. But that makes me question them as a manager, because at the end of the day, a good manager should be able to manage on the basis of getting thoughts of his assistant, but not letting his assistant be basically the manager, which was what was happening at Palace. That doesn't give me the signs that you're a good manager. It gives me the signs that you're a bit, 50-50. You can't really make decisions for yourself. And if you're going down to the Championship where you have so many more games, you also have cup competitions, you have teams that are going to be of similar quality, you can't do this 50-50. You have to be someone who can make that decisions and be comfortable in your decision, which I don't think Vieira is right now. From what I gathered at Palace.
Do you know when obviously he had that great season at Palace and we went for Conor Gallagher and it seemed like the pull of Patrick Vieira and maybe Palace being in London, etc., maybe kept in there. Was there other players that Patrick Vieira brought in that were successes, or was it mainly, I guess what I'm asking, do you back him to be able to spend money? Because Leeds United are going to have money in the Championship. Would you say he's got a decent talent ID, or was that more above his head, like?
Above his head. Elise, before he joined, look, this is the difference. So with Palace under Roy Hodgson, the players that we were linked with, we couldn't really pull them. So Elise was one of them. We were linked with Elise under Hodgson, but we just couldn't get him. When Vieira joined, that Vieira pool came into play. We could now attract them because they want to play under Patrick Vieira. That's why we got Elise straight away after Vieira joined us. But in terms of talent management and trying to find those players, I don't think Vieira was involved as much. Maybe he did want a few French players or so, but our director of football, Doug Friedman, he's the one, and Steve Parish, they're the ones that actually pull the transfer moves. Because at Palace, how we do it is we get the manager that fits into these players. The manager doesn't really decide who. The manager will have a say, but he doesn't say, I want him and we're going to get him. It's more like Doug Friedman and Steve Parish decide. And then afterwards, Vieira, if he gives the thumbs up, then the player will join. But it's more on us rather than Patrick Vieira. But he does have that pull. I think that's a massive positive, and it might help you in the Championship.
100%, and especially with loans and that. My good man Carl's just mentioned it there about him being part of the City group, etc. It could help with bringing players in the door. A lot of people obviously will say the narrative, and I hear it all the time from podcasts and content creators in that. Vieira's run, where I think he didn't win in 12, right? Before he was sacked, and he had
we didn't win a game for 3 months.
Yeah,
we didn't win a game for 3 months.
Do you think he was harshly treated and he should have been given them easier games that he was sacked with? What do you think on, like, as a Palace fan, do you think he should have been given the time? Because everyone else goes, well, he did have a harsh run, so maybe it was that. So what's your thoughts as a Palace fan? Because you watch it week in, week out.
Yeah, so I was absolutely furious when Vieira got sacked because I didn't think we backed him enough. I felt like we had hard run of games. But now that everything is done and settled, I think it was a right decision. Because it's not a case of Palace have easier games. Maybe we would have stayed up under Vieira. It's if some buts. Like, no one can 100% say we wouldn't have. No one can say we would have. But when you look at some of the players that performed when Vieira left, Tyreek Mitchell's game improved. Eze's game improved. There was more improvements than declines. So on that basis, I don't think it's as simple as Vieira should have had easier games and we would have stayed up, because one of them key players that kept us up was Eze. And Eze wasn't playing under Vieira. And when he was absolutely dreadful. So on that basis, it's hard for me to say we would have stayed up under Vieira, because if we kept Vieira, then if Eze still didn't perform, then would we have got these points and goals and assists that would led to us staying up. So it's not as simple as black and white. At the time, I was very mad. I was like, there's no way we get rid of Patrick Vieira when, we got easier run of games. But Roy Hodgson did get the better out of the place. You can laugh about Roy Hodgson being as our manager, but he did get the best out of the place that Vieira couldn't do. So in theory, we might have got relegated, or it might be much tighter under Vieira if Eze still didn't perform. And right now, it might be in Palace that went down instead of Leeds. You never know. So I don't think it's as straightforward as, Vieira got treated harshly. As I said, behind the scenes stuff that did come out afterwards and, players performing, that pretty much changed the picture for even the biggest Vieira fans like me as well, even though some still would have liked him to stay, because right now we don't even have a manager.
Yeah, true. And I know, like, I remember Zaha doing, like, an interview, I think, where he said before it was all just too defensive when Vieira came in, and then you had that great first season, but it clearly went sour. It went sour for him at Nice as well. Obviously, he was sacked after no wins in 5 at Nice, and I just don't think. I'm not backing it. Some fans are, but I'm not, and I just wanted to get like a Palace fan's opinion on it. I know it's getting late, mate, and I know you've been waiting. So if we do get Patrick Vieira in, let's say in a week's time we're in the door, do you expect Leeds to come back at the first time of asking with him in charge?
That is a crazy hard question, bro. I don't want to say yes. I don't want to say no. I mean, so based on how Vieira started things at Palace, and I guess at Nice as well, when you look at things, he does start well. Yeah. So in theory, in his first season, if he does perform and gets the best out of the players, then you could get promoted. But you're talking about a manager that's got limited managerial experience in the first place, and that hasn't managed in the Championship. Like, I think it's incredible. The type of football that he plays, I think you will be scoring goals, and some of the players that you've got there, and I expect you lot to make improvements to the squad. And Vieira Paul, it should help you. I think you'll have a decent enough squad to get promoted back to the Premier League, and playing some exciting football that could help. But I think if you ask me if Farke, for example, if he came in and would he stay up, I think that would give me a bit more confidence than Patrick Vieira. Let me just say that. With Vieira, I can't say yes or no, because I'm basing my theory on what he's done at Palace, and that's completely different to what's expected at Leeds, back down in the Championship. And I don't know. Look, this is a question, Joe. I don't know who he'll bring in as backroom staff. Is it going to be the same backroom staff as Palace? If it is, would that be good enough for the Championship? I don't know what type of players that he will try. There's so many ifs and buts. But based on what happened at Palace, he starts well, so it might help you in the short term. But in the long term, I still feel like he needs more experience watching other managers and learning from other managers until he becomes a top coach. So based on that theory, why don't you go and hire a manager that's done well in the Championship, that has got a bit more experience, that has got way more experience than Patrick Vieira, then go for Patrick Vieira right now. Because I don't think Vieira is a finished product. But you might sell your own as a good dream. But I think personally, he'll back himself. But I don't think he is a finished product. But saying that, maybe in 5 to 10 years' time, he could be an excellent coach because he's got the right ideas. But you know, at times that we were way too defensive, bro. Like we weren't scoring goals at all. It was a massive struggle. Forget about wins. We were struggling to score goals. And I know we picked up points here and there, but I just think he needs to learn a bit more, bro.
Yeah,
that's how I feel. That's how I feel.
Having done a bit of research on that, mate, and it seems to be that's what went wrong for him both at Nice and Palace. It's like he started to struggle and then just went too defensive, as if to say, like, we cannot lose games anymore, and then just stopped any attacking output whatsoever, man.
What does that fall down to? That falls down to lack of experience and lack of even coaching ability as well. Because he's still new. He's still young as well, Vieira. It's not like an older manager in the game. He's still young. He's still learning. And that's why I don't think he'll do this, because I don't know Vieira personally, but I feel like ego might play a part. But this is why I respect Eddie Howe, because when Eddie Howe went to Newcastle, he went to Newcastle after learning from what happened at Bournemouth, and he took a good break. He didn't jump into the job straight away. He was linked with Palace and Celtic and other teams, but he went and learned, and that's why he has improved as a manager. You have to improve. Eddie Howe was playing some very good football at Bournemouth, but what happened? Things got stale, and it got predictable, just like he did with Vieira, and then it went back down to south. So he needed. So he learned. He knew that he needed to learn, and I think that's what Vieira needs to do. I think that's the phase that Vieira is in right now. But in the short term, he might bring you success, but ideally you want a manager that you could build upon. Or you want a manager, first of all, I don't know about you, Joe, but I reckon you want a manager that just gets you promoted. That's the most important thing. If you want a manager that just gets you promoted, then why don't you go for a manager that has got to be promoted? I've said this like 20 times already on the show, but why don't you go for that? Why are you risking with Patrick Vieira right now? Because if you start slow in the championship, yes, there's a lot of games, but that might add up at the end when you need another 3 points or 6 points. Every point matters. We see it at the end of the season. Not at the start of the season, but at the end of the season, you see it. So bring in a manager that knows the league. And if you get promoted, then give the job to Patrick Vieira.
I agree with you, bro.
He's got experience
like, for me, it's like people were surprised by it, but you need to be a bit like Bournemouth. They were savage. They said to Gary O'Neill, thank you for keeping us in the division. Now we're moving on and we're bringing in a certain brand and style of football, and that's that on your bike. And like you say, if you bring in Daniel Farke, he gets us promoted, you then say, right, see you in a bit, you know?
I think it could be simple as, I don't know why. I don't know why you didn't do it. Like, why you're not doing that in the first place? I don't know why you're going for. So does Daniel Farke want to join Leeds?
Well, apparently, mate, it's between him, Farke, Parker, and Raul was mentioned yesterday, but that's gone a little bit quiet as well. But for me, I just don't like Scott Parker, right? I'd back any manager that comes in. I can't lie. Like, I'd back Patrick Vieira. I just think, looking at it now, there's a better option that's available in Daniel Farke. You know what I mean? Like, he's free. He's out of work. So go make that appointment. But like you say, Patrick Vieira will back himself. He has even for players, for someone like Angus Kinnear, who's a football man, maybe not the Americans, the Parag Maraf, they're more American football, but it's still, that's Patrick Vieira. Do you see what I'm saying?
Also, another thing that popped into my head, Joe, I'm sorry to cut you off, bro, but it just popped into my head right now. He sacked one of the coaches at Palace, Sean Derry. And Patrick Vieira as a manager compared to as a player is two opposite things. I don't know if he'll be fine with that. He's so calm and collective. Well, he's so calm and collective in a way that sometimes you want the players to, you know, when you're struggling, you want the players to have it and go at it. But he, in his approach, from what I've heard at Palace, he does not like to shout at players or, you know, go with that old method where sometimes, you know, you want more from the players. And one time that did happen under Sean Derry, one of the coaches who went at the players saying, you know, you have to perform better. We're struggling here. You got rid of him. You got rid of him straight away. Yeah. So just expect that if it does happen, expect that this Patrick Vieira, where you saw as a player compared to as a manager, two different things. He likes to do, I guess, a Wenger approach where Wenger.
I was just going to say, Wenger never used to shout, did he?
Yeah, Wenger never used to shout and stuff. So when you have like players struggling and like he won't be the one to go at a player and you know shout at him and get things going. And I guess sometimes you would need that, right? Like, so you have to find a fine balance. I think football's evolved that you don't need a manager that literally just shouts all the way through. But you also need a manager that gives it to the players when they're not performing as well, which is not really the sense that I got based on his time at Palace. He always, even when we were struggling, he might call the players in for extra training sessions, which I think exhausts the players even further. But he doesn't really go at them like that. You know, with Ten Hag, we saw it where at Man United after that Brentford defeat. He went out with the players and started training them, and he got out the players. But I don't think Vieira is that type of manager. So yeah, you're gonna get like a Wenger type of manager where calm and collective in the Championship.
Well, D, thank you so much, mate. Loads of insight there, loads of love in the chat for D as well. So make sure you go on over and check out Back of the Nest YouTube channel. I will put the link to his channel in this description as well. And D, thank you for tuning in. Sorry, thank you for being here and giving us
I'm
the
tuning
lowdown.
in loads of time, Joe. I love your shows. I love your shows, bro. I love your shows.
My God.
Yeah. But look, thank you for having me on.
Yeah, man, we'll get you back when it's announced.
yeah, we'll talk about it a bit more detail there. But
I might see you in FA Cup or Carling Cup, bro. Okay.
Yeah. Or see you. I don't know. Not in the Premier League though.
No.
No. Jokes aside, for your sake, Joe, I love you to bits, bro. You do great content, and I hope like Leeds get promoted for your sake. But yeah, man, it's gonna be a long season. But before I go, I have to end on this note. You just go for better options than Vieira, especially in the Championship. Go for a manager with experience. That's how I feel, anyways. But look, take care, everyone. Thank you, Joe, and hopefully we'll catch up again soon, bro.
Yeah, man. See you later, D. Thank you so much, bro. Thank you, man. We'll just wait for, I'll tell you what, I'll remove him. There we go. Listen, what a legend D is. Thank you for giving us the lowdown there. And like he said, I think he ended it perfectly. Go for someone else other than Patrick Vieira. I think one of the main positives for me, though, from listening to D, and I think we do have to discuss it, is that player pool. Because it is Patrick Vieira. You know, it was me yesterday when I was talking about Raul, and I was going, yeah, but it's Raul. Players, midfielders, young up-and-coming players, even players that could potentially exit. If Vieira walks through the door, they're thinking twice. You know what I mean? They're thinking twice because that's Patrick Vieira. Do you understand what I mean? So I get it. Yeah, Vieira. Ooh. I love that. But let's go into the article. So this broke while I was at work earlier on, and that's why I decided to do this live. We're going to be talking a bit about Victor Orta later as well, because he did a piece on The Athletic, and some of the stuff that he said is absolutely insane. But it's been reported again. We know it's very quiet. We know that the 49ers don't leak a lot. So this might not mean anything, okay? But The Guardian have put together a piece that says Patrick Vieira has emerged as the front runner to become new Leeds United manager. Daniel Farke and Scott Parker are the other two in the frame. And apparently he's moved to top of the shortlist to fill the managerial vacancy at Leeds as the club board conducts its final round of interviews this week. But this is the mad thing as well, right? Although Daniel Farke and Scott Parker remain in contention, Vieira appears in pole position after indicating an enthusiasm for succeeding Sam Allardyce at Ellen Road. I read another piece as well, which basically said, boys, calm down. Come on, out you go. Honestly, I kept having to mute my mic when D was on because they kept going. I was like, yeah, keep muting it. They're on a mad one today. So, yeah, look, another piece that I read was like, Vieira's in pole position, but the other two haven't been interviewed yet. So I was like, all right, okay, is that what we're doing? Just because he's the only one that has interviewed in face-to-face, because we know they've had loads of rounds of interviews, right? It's Zoom calls, second interview in London this week. You know what? I'm going to task someone. You know, someone who watches this channel who lives in London? Go find them, man. Go find them. I can't believe no one had found them, like going for dinner or something. Do you know what I mean? Like, we're so good at tracking players' planes. Surely someone can find out where they're having this meeting. It'll be in like a posh hotel, man. That's where it'll be, somewhere like that. You know, surely someone might come across Patrick Vieira or Scott Parker just walking through London or something like that. I don't know. I'll task you with it. Try find it. But look. The former Arsenal and France midfielder was dismissed by Palace, but had previously impressed at Selhurst Park and retains admirers among the Leeds hierarchy. And look, it came out after he was sacked and after the season finished that to be fair, Patrick Vieira did want the Leeds job. He considered applying for it while he was still Crystal Palace manager. Do I love the fact why London? Because that's where they're at. Do I love the fact that it's Patrick Vieira? Yeah. Like, I like that side of it, because if it goes right, if it goes right. Like Patrick Vieira leading this football club, it's got stature, it's got gravitas. I just don't rate him up to this point. That's why I've said before I would have been on the Gerrard thing. I'm getting cooked for it by Ash because I had to go at him for liking Vieira, but it is what it is. Football's about opinions. You make them. Yeah, things change, right? I believe Gerrard's better than Vieira. That's just my opinion, but people disagree, and that's totally fine. So that's just my opinion, though, right? Everyone's entitled to theirs. Gerrard's won things. That's what I will say. That's my caveat to that. But yeah, look, let's go. The only caveat to the Vieira situation is that he's not a championship promotion expert, and that's what D was saying, right? In contrast, Farker and Parker can point to their experience of getting teams up from the second tier, with the latter having taken Fulham and Bournemouth into the Premier League, and Farker twice doing so with Norwich. I think the key selling point for me for Daniel Farker is he won the league twice as well. Parker, I'm not a fan of, and not only that, Parker's squads at both Fulham and Bournemouth was stacked, and I don't think he won the league with either, right? Big Carl there saying he knows that Vieira was going to get the job. You should have told me at the time, bro. What's this about? It's too late now, Carl. You've let me down. Parker is available after being sacked by Club Brugge. Again, this is another point to make, right? Scott Parker went to Club Brugge, which is the elite team in Belgium, and bombed. Whereas Farker did okay at Mönchengladbach. 10th position's not that bad for them. Like, it's not that bad. Of course, they have bigger what's the word I'm looking for? Bigger hopes than that, but it is what it is. It looks like Carlos Corberan's definitely out of the race because he keeps being said that we've not even, not even tried to entertain that conversation. We've heard that from a few pieces now, including The Athletic with Phil here. So that seems something that seems, pretty bang on now. It looks like Corberan is out of the running, whether or not. Maybe they don't want to play the release clause, but I just don't think that they're keen on him because 2.5 million for the 49ers, it's not that much. I wouldn't imagine to get him out of his contract. So it is what it is. But yeah, look, Leeds United, according to this, have not followed up their interest. And that does sort of like coincide with everything else we believed up to this point. Instead, the focus seems to have shifted increasingly towards Vieira. I think this point was made yesterday as well. Like, he's previously worked in America. He did well in America at New York City. And someone made the point, it might have been Jer, like he hopes that American connection or the American side of things ain't pushing the Vieira agenda. But it is what it is. It goes on to say, indeed, it is not inconceivable that the 46-year-old who has previously managed New York City and Nice could celebrate his 47th birthday on Friday by securing a new job in West Yorkshire. We'll have to wait and see, won't we? We'll have to wait and see what happens with Patrick Vieira, but he seems to be the front runner for now, right? He seems to be the front runner for now. I'm expecting the fact that it's Thursday tomorrow. I don't even think we're going to get an announcement tomorrow. Like by Friday, it looks like it's going to be Monday now. I'd imagine potentially. Do you agree? What do you think? Let me know your thoughts because I did think Friday, but we'll see. Look, tomorrow I'll be live in the morning at 9 a.m. as well, reacting to the fixture announcement. Obviously, they come out tomorrow at 9 a.m., so I'll be setting up a stream for that. So if you're about, I'll be live at 9 a.m. reacting to the fixtures and any more news that's out there. Just want to say now as well to Tyler Roberts, big up to Tyler Roberts. Tyler Roberts has now officially left Leeds United and has moved to Birmingham City. Yeah, I mean, just never really worked out, has it? But yeah, Tyler Roberts has left the building. Good luck to him. Like I say, he's got a championship winning medal, scored 4 goals during that run, and will always be remembered as a champion at Ellen Road. He played 51 times for Leeds United in the Premier League over the next 2 campaigns. So, decent. A nice little footnote in our history is Tyler Roberts, as are all them players on that picture there. So, good luck. Michael DiCaprio, I don't quite agree with this. Like, look, I get it's frustrating, and we're seeing Southampton have got their manager, we're seeing Leicester have got their manager, and this, but both Bielsa and Vincent Kompany both came in late and showed that you don't need a long time. Of course, I'm looking at it through a Leeds United prism and looking at it through a white rose tinted glasses because I want Leeds United, because I'm just trying to back them. But yeah, it is late, but it's not always a bad thing, because we've seen with Kompany and Bielsa that, you know, short turnaround isn't always such a bad thing. I want to focus on this. It looks like remember the window closes. The window closes, or sorry, opens, not closes. The window opens on the 1st of July for European transfers. And the reason I'm mentioning that, because it looks like Robin Koch is closer to an exit. So he's been linked again. This is Florian Plettenberg from Bild and Sky reporter over in Germany. He understands now that Bayer Leverkusen have also entered the race for Robin Koch. Concrete interest as a possible replacement for Jonathan Tah. He's also a candidate for Eintracht Frankfurt, which we'd known about. But it does say at this time, another club from the Premier League seems to be in the pole position for now. It's an open race. We know that he's going to leave on a free, leave on loan for a year, and then be able to leave for nothing. That's Victor Orta and his mad deals, isn't it? But look, it is what it is. I think that club's West Ham. I think that other club that seems to be in pole position is West Ham. Maybe he wants to stay in England now. Maybe he's had a change of heart potentially. But yeah, maybe he wants to stay over here, and it is what it is. We move. I'll be glad to see the back of him. I haven't been a fan. Yeah, it is what it is. So Robin Koch's going to be leaving, and yeah, good luck. To be honest, I don't want him to stay in England. I don't want to see him perform well for, say, West Ham or something in Europe. I'm now gonna bring it to this. So I seen Tone on Twitter. Big shout out Tone and the rest of the lads. Sort of like take some excerpts from a Leeds Live article that Victor Orta had done after he spoke at Sevilla, and it came from the Athletic article. So I found the article. I've not actually read it yet, so I want to see what he's had to say, because I've seen some of these screen grabs of what he was saying, and I was like, "Is this guy for real? Like, is this guy for real? Is he really going to pull that card?" But let's talk about it. Let's see what Victor has had to say. So he said, "I forgot about the bad times the day I closed the door." Yeah, because we weren't your problem anymore, right? Former Leeds United director of football Victor Orta says he forgot bad moments at the club the day the door closed on his time at Ellen Road. Okay, he goes on to say, "I had a very satisfactory time there, taking a team which had been 16 years in the lower division as a foreigner in England, where they demand double of you." Like, what's that about? What's he saying there? Because he's foreign that we want more? If he was English, we'd be okay with these shitty, shoddy appointments that he made? It's bullshit. He's pulling the race card, if you like, the national card, because I'm not English, that they disliked me. That is not why at all. I backed you for time. It's not. I loved Victor Orta, how passionate he was. It's nothing to do that he was Spanish. The reason we disliked him is because he started telling fans to be quiet. Yeah, he started telling fans to sack the board. Remember when we'd come back from 3-1 down to Bournemouth to win 4-3, and he was rubbing it in our faces. On the last day of last season against Brentford, when we stayed up, and he was talking like, 16 years, no Prem with me. I think he's mad to be coming out and saying these things. So basically saying, I had a good time there. And again, it's like it was all him. Let's not forget, people. Let's not forget that it wasn't all him. It was Bielsa, not Victor. Yeah, it was Bielsa. Exactly, Gaz. This is the mad thing, isn't it? He's left us. He's taking Rodrigo for 3.5 million because he's aware of what shit contracts he did. And then also he's bought a left back, which is what we've needed for bloody years. He goes on to say, I managed a Premier League budget. All that means manage the club as a director general, always aiming for the best of the team. It was a very important part of my life with some very good moments, and the bad moments are forgotten. I forgot about that the day the door closed. Just wanted to remember the good times I had there. Let's see. Asked about the future of Leeds striker. He said, I'm not going to talk about individual names. I sent Rodrigo Moreno a message yesterday to congratulate him for the trophy. With this rumour, maybe from there, things have got a bit exaggerated. Yeah, I bet that was all you said as well. Listen, I'm going to get you back to Spain. Don't worry about it. Especially now, Real Madrid have signed Joselu, the ex Newcastle striker. It looks like that Rodrigo's going to go over there. Yeah, this is right, isn't it? Yeah, it was an ego trip for Orta. The only thing he got right was making a phone call to Argentina, 2 clubs in England, and relegated them both. And yeah, true, Carl. And if you look at some of his signings, even at Middlesbrough, you know, signing Victor Valdez, signing other sort of like ex top players, reclamation projects, and every once in a while he gets a bit of a gem. And when they signed Adama Traore in the Championship, that was a gem. I remember Adama Traore beasting us at the Riverside when I think he got 3 assists for Patrick Bamford's hat trick. Like in the Championship, that guy was next level. And he had moments like that for us where he bought players in that were next level. Just look at Rafinha, but they were few and far between. You know what I mean? They were few and far between. And ultimately, like you say, he got both teams relegated. So, yeah, I just think it's shit he's coming out and saying that his reasoning that he was disliked is because he had to do doubly hard because he was Spanish. Come on, man. When you actually deep it, Victor Orta got off so lightly compared to Angus Kinnear and compared to Radrizzani because of how much of a passion merchant he was. People could see through that. Not a lot of us, myself included. I used to love it when he'd be in the director's box going, rah, but really, as much as we loved it, in the position that he's in, he should have had a bit of more professional courtesy about him, you know what I mean? But it is what it is. Yeah, Victor's a tit. Victor, Sakrabad. Look, over the next 2 days, I think Thursday, Friday, we're going to hear more, right? We're going to hear more. I think it might be Monday now, but it's clear, you know, they've met with Patrick today, and he's entered pole position. What that means, I don't know. Like, from other reports you read, it's almost as if he's the only one that's been interviewed up to this point. Maybe Thursdays for Farker and maybe Friday's set for Parker, and then we may make an announcement. I believe the announcement of the deal going through, i.e. officially from the EFL, the 49ers, the transferring of shares, that's very close. The more I think about it, right, yeah, I really want Farker, but the more I think about it, I'd like the glamour signing of Raul, you know. I think that'd just be awesome. But yeah, that's my like fan head on. Everyone as well, just to bring this up, I didn't think we were ever going to be in the hunt for him, unfortunately, but Victor Gyökeres, okay. I'm just going to mention this as well because Fabrizio Romano tweeted about him earlier. Gyökeres is on his way. He may stay at Coventry because he's got the potential for a free transfer in 2024. But the Coventry owner is asking for a huge amount with just 1 year left on his contract. So that might see him next season out at Coventry. But the names and clubs that have been mentioned, Fulham, Wolves, West Ham and Sporting. So Leeds United are not getting Victor Gyökeres. Another failure by Victor Orta. We should have got him instead of Rutter. Do I think Rutter will have a good season and rip it up? Yes, I do. Gallardo is never happening, never was. It's exactly the same as Potter, the same as Iriola. These are not coming to the Championship, you know. It's just not happening. I would take Ruud van Nistelrooy. I've said that on record before. Joe's still on the Raul sauce. I can't lie, mate. That's like a bit of a glamour signing for me, Gabe. I'm a bit like Raul. I'd rather Raul over Vieira. I would. I'm not sure Patrick Vieira's the man, you know. But we'll see, innit? We'll see. If he gets the job, he'll get my backing, of course. Yeah, 100%. It is Patrick Vieira. That's going to give him a bit of grace period anyway, I think. But I don't think he's coming in on a bit of a downward trajectory. I mean, because I don't think a lot are sold on him. I think a lot of Leeds fans would prefer Farke. We've seen polls on the square ball. I did a poll on Twitter, and it's largely 75%, like 75% Farke. So yeah, it's mad. We'll have to wait and see, though. Listen, smash a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, get your comments in, and of course, hit the notification bell. That's it for tonight. I'm gonna be live in the morning, so I'm gonna get an early night, so I'm fit, ready, raring to go. At 9 a.m. Obviously, the championship fixtures are announced. I know someone who knows them now because they do it as part of the job, but they won't tell me who our first game is. And I was like, please tell me anyway. I can't, mate, honestly. I was like, just tell me the first game. And he won't. So, yeah, he won't, Locks. He won't tell us, will he, bro? He won't tell us. That's what I mean. I've already slid in on a private message away from the group chat, and he still won't tell me, Locks. But it is what it is. So he already knows. Some people will already know, but yeah, we'll find out in the morning, 9 a.m. It'll probably be on Wacko. Someone will get hold of it somewhere. But this is my prediction as well. It's either going to be that or it's going to be against Leicester or Southampton on a Friday night. Curtain raiser for the championship. That's what it'll be. But yeah, smash a like. I'll be back at 9 a.m. and I'll see you in a bit. Have a nice evening. And I'll see you.
It's a fact. I am not playing mind games. I'm talking about facts.
Facts. Wrong one.